Hey, welcome to Sam Outside. I'm Sam, and well, I'm outside, inviting you to be a good listener. Yeah, part of the core practices, or one of the many core practices in forest bathing, as a certified forest therapy guide, one of the first things I want to do is invite people to open their senses. So it's sensory work, a moment of mindfulness just to start the process. And in that invitation known as pleasures of presence, there's a moment with eyes closed, a couple minutes in every moment. Just focus on listening. And then as we go through the practice or through the guided forest therapy walk, or if you're practicing forest bathing, which is an individual effort, Shinrin-yoku, yeah, spend some time listening. And for me this morning, it's the bird song. All right. Bird song specifically is its own practice. All right. And whether you're outside or if you have some time on your own, yeah, you could pop in some tunes, put a show or a movie on in the background, but studies are out there. 6 minutes of birdsong really engages a different part of your brain. And when I'm out in nature, I can't help but be drawn. And most of the time, it's just birds doing their thing. Yeah. Here, a woodpecker doing its work, some nuthatches chirping, chickadees bopping here and there, a jay calling, right? But there's always a bit of breeze. Well, not always, but most of the time there's a bit of breeze. And that will draw my attention as well. I get a good gust going through the treetops. Allows me to look and listen. On this particular day, we've just had about 5 days of pretty good heat and humidity. And now that there's some winds coming in, some of the drier leaves are starting to fall, and they make their own sounds as they tumble through the other leaf litter, land on the ground, draws my attention. And I happen to live in a home with a metal roof, and man, that sound of rain on a metal roof is just soothing, right? Back in the 80s, Solitudes made a lot of money selling us CDs, fall asleep to, right? Whether it was bird song, waves crashing, thunderstorms, wolves howling, whale song. It's all good for us. The act of listening requires mindfulness, requires intentional focus. And what that leads to is that focus will then follow us through the rest of our day. All right? Get better at problem solving, comprehension. Right? That listening, that focus will then also help relate to the other senses. All right? I might smell things a little more intently. I might feel things a little more intently as some air moves around my skin, through my hair, back of my neck, my face. Right? I might start to observe and see things a little differently as well. But being a good listener in nature, it connects to a different part of our brain. So that's one of the things I enjoy starting with. And wow, I really do notice a difference between these summer walks. And if you've been part of viewing some of my earlier videos, like 6 months ago, I was doing this in the winter. There's no leaf cover. So the wind passing through the canopy, so it's just the sound of branches clattering together, very different. My footsteps on crunching snow or ice, right? If I'm wearing cleats across the lake, it's a different sound altogether. Right? And it just opens things up. I can hear greater sounds coming from a greater distance. Yeah. So if you're in one of those environments, if you're living in a city, or if you've got property that's near a major road or highway, you don't even hear it anymore, right? The droning of an overpass, sirens in the background, right? That sound alone is associated with human activity, and that puts us in a different frame of mind. So when doing studies on patients, doing studies on students, just changing their environment with a change in sound really does promote healing with focus. Subconscious, we don't even realize it's happening. So Be a good listener. Take a moment. Take a couple moments and just listen. And then if you need to practice a little bit, what we call deer ears, right? A lot of animals in the forest have the ability to independently move their ears so they can not move their entire body because that draws attention to predators, but they can move their ears all the way around. Barred owls, for example, have their ears offset in their skull. Helps them triangulate. Gives them an 80% success rate at catching voles under the snow. They never see them. They're just listening. It's amazing adaptations. So you don't have to be outdoors to listen to nature. Bring nature indoors if you need to. But if you really want to benefit, start listening to nature sounds and replace the more than human world for those things that are definitely human. All right? Silence is golden. There's very rarely moments of silence and solitude in the forest. We're surrounded by life. Depending on the time of year, might just take a couple more moments for it to make a sound. Right. So go outside, and when you can't, bring the outdoors inside. All right. So it's a skill, and one that some people take for granted. But depending on what you do for a living, depending on, well, maybe there's a little bit of genetics involved. Maybe it's age. But man, when you start losing your hearing, or when your hearing's been compromised, yeah, it's a real thing, right? I spent a good portion of my life as an arborist. Man, when you're running a chipper, which requires 2 stages of PPE, one that inserts and then the muffs, right? There's a reason for that, right? Doing that 8 hours a day, running a chainsaw when you're not at the chipper. Yeah, I've seen it really affect guys' hearings, and as a foreman, as a crew leader, constantly reminding the guys, you know, wear your hearing protection. I have a conversation with a young kid, doesn't even hear me in the truck anymore. All right, and after a couple of years, that is permanent. Right? It's hard for that to hear, hard for that hearing to come back, hard for that to heal. So if you've got it, protect it. If you've got it, use it. All right? Don't take it for granted. Take a moment. Stop. Listen. Just breathe. Listening to nature reminds you that there is a lot of nature. There's life all around us. And it heals. Be a good listener. I appreciate your time, your energy, your support. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.